Have you ever had this quiet thought in the back of your mind, if I could just make a little more money, things would finally feel easier? Maybe you imagine the moment clearly. A bigger paycheck, a promotion, a new job that finally pays what you're worth. You picture the relief, bills paid on time, less tension in your chest when you check your bank account, maybe even the feeling of breathing a little easier. And then, it actually happens. You start earning more. But something strange happens too. The stress doesn't disappear. In fact, sometimes it feels almost the same. The bills are still there. The pressure is still there. And that calm financial life you imagine still feels just out of reach. Which leads to a quiet, uncomfortable question. If making more money was supposed to fix this, why doesn't it? Most people believe financial stress is purely an income problem. It feels logical. If money causes stress, then more money should remove it. But the truth is a little more complicated than that. Because financial stress isn't just about numbers. It's about psychology. It's about expectations, habits, environment, and the way our brains adapt to almost everything. Think about the last time your income increased. Maybe it was a raise, maybe a better job, maybe a new opportunity that finally paid more than the last one. For a moment, it probably felt great. There's a brief period where everything seems lighter. You feel more capable, more secure. But then something subtle begins to happen. Life slowly expands to match the new income. Maybe the apartment gets a little nicer. The groceries become slightly better. The car payment changes. Weekend spending grows without you even noticing. None of these changes feel extreme, each one seems reasonable on its own. But together, they quietly rebuild the same financial pressure you thought you escaped. This phenomenon actually has a name. Lifestyle inflation. It's the process where our standard of living rises alongside our income, until the gap between what we earn and what we spend feels almost exactly the same as before. In other words, the stress moves with us. And the strange part is, most of this happens automatically. Our brains are wired to adapt quickly to improvements. A salary that once felt exciting becomes normal within months. The new apartment becomes the new baseline. The upgraded phone becomes expected. The better restaurants feel routine. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. It simply means that humans are very good at getting used to better things. Which sounds nice, until you realize what it does to money. Because if our happiness resets every time life improves, then earning more money doesn't necessarily create lasting relief. It just creates a bigger version of the same system. You earn more, you spend more, and the feeling of not quite enough quietly returns. But there's another layer most people don't talk about. As income rises, so do expectations. Not just your own expectations, but the expectations around you. Friends assume you can afford more. Family assumes you're doing well. Workplaces assume you can handle more responsibility. Suddenly the financial pressure isn't just about paying bills. It's about maintaining a lifestyle that now feels normal. And once a lifestyle becomes normal, it's incredibly difficult to step backward from it. That's why someone earning twice as much as they did 5 years ago can still feel financially tense. It's not because they're irresponsible. It's because the system around their life expanded at the same speed as their income. The stress never had a chance to disappear. The turning point comes when you start realizing something important. Financial peace doesn't come from income alone. It comes from the space between income and lifestyle. That space is what creates breathing room. It's what allows unexpected expenses to feel manageable. It's what makes saving possible. It's what slowly builds a sense of control. And interestingly, that space doesn't require extreme sacrifices. Most of the time, it's created through quiet decisions that barely look dramatic from the outside. Letting income rise faster than lifestyle. Waiting before upgrading something that technically works fine. Allowing raises to strengthen stability instead of immediately expanding life. None of these decisions are exciting. They don't look impressive on social media. But they slowly create something far more powerful than a higher salary. They create calm. Because once the gap between what you earn and what you need becomes larger, something surprising happens. Money stops feeling like constant pressure. It becomes a tool instead of a weight. And that doesn't mean earning more money is pointless. Of course, higher income can help. It can create opportunities. It can reduce certain kinds of stress. But income alone isn't the full solution most people imagine. Because without awareness, a bigger paycheck simply builds a bigger lifestyle. And a bigger lifestyle often rebuilds the same financial tension in a slightly different form. That realization can actually be freeing. It means you're not failing if money stress hasn't disappeared after earning more. You're just experiencing the same psychological patterns that affect almost everyone. The real shift isn't chasing income endlessly. It's understanding how lifestyle, habits, and expectations quietly shape your financial life. And once you see those patterns clearly, you start making slightly different decisions. Nothing extreme, nothing dramatic. Just small adjustments that slowly widen the space between what you earn and what you need. Over time, that space grows. And with it, something much more valuable than a bigger paycheck. A little more quiet, a little more control, and the sense that your financial life is finally moving in the right direction. Not perfectly, but steadily. And in the long run, steady progress almost always beats the illusion that the next raise will solve everything.